Hi guys, this is that man, that is my merchandise, and today we are talking about Dr. Stone. Artwork by Boichi and the story by Rikaru Inagi. Dr. Stone tells the story of a world where everyone and everything turns to stone. A scientist, the main character Senku, falls out of his stone prison and has to rebuild humanity. With science! Senku has his work cut out for him because he is reborn into the world of stone. He's basically went back to caveman times, except it's the future. Ooh. And that's one of the things I loved about this series. It's one that I don't feel that you'd see much of. It's one that you don't see much of in general. We do see a few post-apocalyptic kind of series, but none really on the grand scale that Dr. Stone presents. Senku is essentially trying to reboot the entire of humanity. And he's not alone. Very early on in the series, Senku is fought out alongside his friend Taiju, who actually, to be fair, he's kind of the main character for the first volume or two. Taiju is absolutely head over heels in love with Yuzahira, a beautiful girl who he protects while getting turned to stone. After several millennia, Senku manages to thaw him out using nitric acid, and they try to take over the world. They try to ensure it's getting rebooted. However, Taiju, he's a bit of a brute. He's not really that smart, but his heart's in the right place. Senku, on the other hand, he's incredibly weak. He can't even do a lot of lifting. So, they thaw out the ultimate primate schoolboy, Tsukasa. And Tsukasa helps them out initially. However, Tsukasa and Senku's ideals are a little bit different. Senku just wants to reboot the entire world with the whole of science. Tsukasa kind of thinks, well no, what we'll do is we'll reboot the world, but we'll get rid of all the worst, we'll get rid of the adults, the horrible people of the world. This has a clash of ideals, and Senku and Tsukasa end up having a falling out with grave repercussions. That is the original arc, and in my opinion, the first two volumes of Dr. Stone are honestly pretty darn weak. They're not the best thing in the world. However, it's one of those series that, as ever in Jump, it kind of felt that it was sink or swim for Dr. Stone. They eventually got to the point where they were just like, oh, well, you know, it's going to get cancelled, try and shake it up a bit. And they did. And it really worked. From volume 3 onwards, Senku goes it alone. However, he quickly comes across a village. A village that he immediately thinks, you know what? We can use this for science. And that is when Dr. Stone really takes off, the second arc. We get massive advancements in science. All of these little things that we take for granted are massive, huge undertaking in Dr. Stone, and that's what I love about it. It's one of those series that it kind of says, well, you're not going to get everything for nothing. It's not going to skirt over all of these little things where it's just kind of like, oh well, they're just watching TV. But how does TV work? What's all the components that go into TV? Is TV even important? And this is when Dr. Stone really starts to shine, when the village comes into play. We even have a tournament arc. The tournament arc is the thing I hate the most out of all kinds of arcs. But in Dr. Stone, it really works. It honestly does. It's really over the top, it's ridiculous, it's fun, but it works and it has an absolute hilarious outcome. They're actually already known for their comedy sports series, iShield 21. Coupled with Boichi's incredible artwork, Dr. Stone manages to just reach out and pull you into the moment. While the initial volumes are, you know, a little bit lackluster, it does really take off, and it is one that is absolutely so incredibly rewarding, much like Black Clover. It's a constant reminder of how well we have advanced as a species, from cavemen to where we are today. And it's absolutely amazing to see all of these little things, all of these little advancements in science being put together. For example, later on they start building cars, they start building tanks, railway stations, they go mining. There's a whole like kind of little Minecraft aspect for it, so if you like Minecraft, I would definitely check it out. It's also kind of labelled when you have this whole thing of Dragon Quest. If you read or played Dragon Quest, you get a lot of the references like copper ore acquired, iron ore acquired, bread acquired, and that's what I love about it. It's one of those series where if you are really into Japanese culture, if you've really gotten into stuff like Dragon Quest, or if you're getting into JRPGs, or even if you're playing Minecraft, you're going to get very into Dr. Stone on a whole, because it's really rewarding in that aspect. Characters are what make Dr. Stone what it is. While Taiju and Yuzahiro aren't really that interesting at the very beginning, Senku really manages to lift it off, and he's coupled with a lot of fantastic characters including Gen and Kohaku. Both of these are characters that you don't really normally see in typical shonen. Kohaku is an absolute brute of a woman. She's known as a lioness because she's just kind of like, oh well, I'm headstrong and I'll do what I want. And she's not really the girly girl kind of thing, which does come into play a lot later on in the series. Gen is a psychic, and he's kind of just like, oh well, I'll try and use my brains to kind of talk these people around and flip them into the way I want to do it. We also have the usual characters. We have the perverted one, we have the glasses-kun one, we have the cute adorable girl, and we also have the barra old guy. All of these things make Dr. Stone what it is, and you know what? I don't see anything like it in Shonen Jump. And that's why I feel that Dr. Stone isn't doing quite as well in Shonen Jump. Dr. Stone is one of those titles where I looked at it and I was like, you know what, this should be the next big thing. It should be absolutely flying through the polls. It should be near the top of everything. It should be selling absolutely fantastic. But it's not. It's actually selling rather modest compared to Shonen Jump standards. Even the anime didn't really help it out. Interestingly enough though, it's one of those ones that a lot of people, once they get into it, they always seem to enjoy it. It's quite interesting that it's never really hooked people in. I kind of put that down to the first few volumes. They're not the best, but you know what? It's not terrible either. You could do a lot worse. Dr. Stone is just completely rewarding. It's one of those titles where I'm so excited to see the next chapter because the way it's written, it just makes things so much more exciting. Inagaki is an absolute master of the suspense. As we already know in Ice Shield 21, he can make small mundane things like a little bit of a sports game. He can make it feel incredibly tense, and that is how Dr. Stone shines. It's incredibly tense when it wants to be, yet it's rather smart. A lot of the stuff that's in it is actual proper science. I mean, I'm not going to say you can build a rocket ship in your back garden, but you know what? A lot of the stuff that they do come out and just say, don't try this at home, you might burn your fingers off. And I love it for that. I love it how it doesn't kind of just skirt around everything. It kind of just goes, oh yeah, this is what you need to do, this is how this is all built, and it's rather smart about it. It doesn't have a huge amount of fights. The main character can't fight. But the fights that they are in are all over the top and they use science to beat them. And I love that. I love that because there are so many titles where I could just pick them up and just go, it's another battle shonen. Huzzah! This one's got ninjas instead of pirates. Or this one's got superheroes instead of fairy tale. Wizards or whatever it is. And Dr. Stone basically just says, science versus brawn. Science will always come out. There's a lot of interesting stuff in Dr. Stone, and I absolutely would love to see more people pick this one up. It's remaining a firm favourite for me, and you know what? I think if more people give it a chance beyond Volume 2, I think it'll be a firm favourite for a lot more people too. It's doing quite well in the West, so brilliant.